Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Shabbat Eve, which is not even the final Shabbat in August, because we got 5 Fridays this month. Such a joy. And there's no High Holy Days next month. They've been canceled and postponed until October. But mark your calendars for Saturday, September 28th, when we will do the Slichot service. And if history is any guide, you're not going to need to come early to get seats. Welcome this Shabbat evening for reflection and worship. We will begin by giving thanks for this beautiful day, page 330, Ma Yafeh Hayom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. See, if you sing loudly, I won't. That's conditioning. It's Pavlov's rabbi. We'll continue on page 2 as we give thanks for the light in the world that we help to create and bless the Shabbat candles. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue on page 5, blessing the fruit of the vine to increase the sweetness in our lives. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, V'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uv'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher li'tziat mihitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, b'yava uv'ratzon, hinchalatanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Let's continue on page 9, reading together in the middle of the page. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, For Shabbat memories, glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. Pages 20 and 21, Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemohu echad, L'shem u'letif eret v'litehila, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Verse 5. Hit oreri, Kiva orech kumi ori, Uri, shir daberi, Kavod Adonai alayich nigla, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. We rise for verse 9. Bo'i v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha uv'tzohola, Toch emunei am segula. Bo'i chala, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Page 26. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Bi'alamad yivrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon, Uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalaha, Uv'izmahan kari v'imeru, Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach, Le'alam u'le'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, Shemei dekudesha, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Da'amihiran b'yalama v'imeru. Amen. Page 28 is our call to prayer. Baruchu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Adonai hamivorach leolam va'ed. We continue responsively on page 33. wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things are provided to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. Then this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Pages 34 and 35, Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. We will continue on page 36 with the next paragraph of Shema. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha uvechol meodecha, vehayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha, vishinantam levanecha, vidibarta bam, bishivtecha bevetecha, uvelechtecha vaderech, Uveshochbecha uvekumecha, ukeshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot bein einecha, uchetavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, lema'an tizkeruhu va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We'll continue responsively on page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory, the earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered, at Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Page 40, Mi Chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot, o seifele, nora tehilot, o seifele, malachutecha ra'u vanecha, Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe Miriam ze'eli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Please join me in the English in the middle of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Page 44. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'kor'ei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'kor'ei, oneg Shabbat. Am mekadeshei, mekadeshei shevi Shabbat, kulam yisbeu v'yitangu mituvecha Shabbat. This is a joyous song about the joy of Shabbat. So let's speed it up a little, and if you want to dance, keep it to yourself, but if you want to clap, that's fine. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'kor'ei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'kor'ei, oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, chemdat yamim, oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'kor'ei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'kor'ei, oneg Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh, lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh, lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'kor'ei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'kor'ei, oneg Shabbat. Is that cringeworthy, Natan? A few more years it will be. Page 46. Please rise for tefillah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh HaKohol, Vezocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Hilam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatahal, Michalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayehem Emunato, Li'shenei Afar, Michamo Chaba Al Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umechayehe, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'Hachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayehi HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yahalelucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadcha beyirah na'avod. Page 62. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Page 253. Think of all who are in needing of healing of body and spirit. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. This Shabbat, we think especially of the following people: Bob Barnett, Alan Brockman, Mike Carbone, Esther Hulda Batsara, Valerie Frank, Alex Goldstein, Clara Gilliams, Wendy Haber, Jillian Hartman, Elizabeth Heider, Nathan Kinnock, Tyler Kinnock, Kristen Kinnock, Kate Lane, Richard Lehrer, Martin Levin, Jody Lokshin, Judine Luntz, David Poole, Carol Rubin, Rob Schweitzer, Mark Sirac, Sharon Smith, Kristen Spetich, Jerry Spitzer, Kelly Swab, Barbara Turkeltaub, Kristen Turner, David Waltz, Malka Wayne, Florence Weaver, and Bruce White. If there are others about whom you're thinking and you would like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so now. Thank you. Thank you. Mi shebeirach avoteinu mekor habracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Please rise as we continue with the prayer for the state of Israel on page 259. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'go alo. Barech, Barech, et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulateinu, Hagena Aleha Be'evrat Chasdecha, Ufaros Aleha Sukat Shalomecha. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'go alo. Page 374. Kol od balev avnima, nefesh Yehudi homia, ufa'ate mizrach kadima, ayin letzion Sophia. Od lo avda tikvatenu, ha-tikva bat shnot alpayim, liot am chofshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Liot am chofshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Please be seated. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Earlier this month, Ronit's mom, my mother-in-law, celebrated a milestone birthday. So that I will remain in her good graces, I will not tell you which one. I never met her parents, but I want to tell you a part of Nora Sherwin's family story. Nora's parents were born in Munich and Vienna and fled Europe for Tel Aviv before they met. They met at a cafe when they were young adults, and then they introduced their siblings to each other. And before long, Bertha Mendler and Hugo Schlackett were married in pre-state Palestine and were also their own sister-in-law and brother-in-law, which made for a tight-knit family unit because a brother and a sister married a sister and a brother. I have finally, after 10 plus years of marriage, figured out which side of the family is Mendler and which side of the family is Schlackett. The Mendlers were from Munich and the Schlacketts were from Vienna. A few years before Israel's War of Independence, this young couple, Bertha and Hugo Schlackett, welcomed their first child, Nurit, now known as Nora. And Nora herself had 4 children, the third and best of whom is Ronit. And baby Nora, born in the land of Israel before it was officially the state of Israel, was an only child until her younger brother was born in 1948. Something else momentous happened in that land in 1948. And during that war, when little Gary Schlackett was being born, the children's father, Hugo, was a soldier in the Haganah. He had been in World War II a soldier in the British Army. How in the world can we compress Jewish history into a few short sentences? Hugo Schlacket, born in Vienna, lived in what was part of the Turkish Empire and then became part of the British Empire. So this person spoke English and Hebrew and German and served in the British Army without ever having lived in Great Britain. He lived in what was previously the Ottoman Empire, having never been in Turkey. And the story only goes on. Hugo thankfully survived not only World War II in the British Army, he survived fighting in the war for Israel's independence. And though parts of their family in Germany and Austria perished in the Shoah, Hugo and Bertha, who was also known as Batya, were themselves blessed with many more years. And I never met them, but I know that not all of those years were easy. When Nora was 10 and Gary was 6, amidst economic turmoil in Israel in the 1950s, this young family of 4 moved from Bat Yam, just south of Tel Aviv, to Cleveland, just south of Lake Erie. And here in Cleveland, they built a new life. And the Schlacket children are themselves now grown, celebrating milestone birthdays, and have children and grandchildren. Batya and Hugo Schlacket were blessed with 7 grandchildren. Did I get that right? Gary has 3 and Nora has 4. That's 3 plus 4, 7. And lots of great-grandchildren. Now, I think about Bertha and Hugo Schlacket as examples of a time that is long gone. But I'm reminded of them because their pictures hang throughout our house. Some of the things that Hugo the Tinkerer built are in my office and are also throughout our home. Our children are named in part for them. Ronit has a picture of Hugo with her. It was at a prom, her high school prom with her grandfather. I happened also to be at that prom, but Ronit and I didn't meet each other. That's a whole other story. We met when we were in our late 30s, but I was at her prom with somebody else. I think of the Schlackets' story of moving from Munich and Vienna to Tel Aviv to Bat Yam to Cleveland Heights as an example of a time long gone, a time when Jews were the highest achieving minorities in this country. We are no longer. The Schlackets are an example of the immigrant story of American Jewish history, which seems to have disappeared. The most recent wave of which was the influx of Jews after the collapse of the Soviet Union. But I think of Hugo and Batya as examples of immigrants because they heeded, maybe without knowing it, a warning from this week's Torah portion. The Mendler family were quite religious. The Schlacket family was not quite religious, but they lived according to Torah. According to these verses in Deuteronomy, our ancestors were taught, take care when you get to the land where you're going. Take care lest you forget God and fail to keep the commandments and the laws that I enjoin upon you in this day. When you have eaten your fill, and you have built fine houses in which to live, and your herds and your flocks have multiplied, and your silver and gold have increased, and everything that you own has prospered, beware lest your heart grow haughty and you forget God, who freed you from the land of Egypt, who led you through the great and terrible wilderness, who fed you from the flinty rock, who fed you in the wilderness with manna, which your ancestors had never known. And lest you say to yourselves, my own power and the might of my own hand has won this wealth and opportunity for me. Remember, the Torah tells us that it is God who gives you the power to acquire wealth in fulfillment of the covenant made on oath, as is still the case. And if you forget God and follow other gods, you will perish. This biblical warning was to our ancestors in the context of preparing to enter the Promised Land. It probably was not what Hugo Schlacket and Bertha Mendler thought about when they were fleeing Nazi Europe. But the lesson is applicable to them as it is to us. Because whether we are refugees from Vienna and Munich to Tel Aviv, and then economic refugees from Tel Aviv to Cleveland, we are always, as Jews, the outsider. And we always have to be prepared to start over. Now, I did not know the Schlackets, but I am in awe of their story because of what they managed to create from practically nothing. They came here having abandoned 2 entire lifetimes without seeing members of their immediate family. They set out on something new, a new adventure, all for the sake of opportunity, because they did not become complacent and they did not become arrogant. They are an embodiment of what we are supposed to remind ourselves every year at the Passover Seder, when we sit around beautifully laid tables and eat chicken that costs too much from the kosher butcher. We are reminded to say that we were slaves. Not our ancestors were slaves, but we were slaves. Because this is a perspective that takes us out of the mindset to think that what we have done, we did by ourselves. And it refocuses us on giving thanks for the things with which we have been blessed, including adversity. The children of Israel could have taken the shortcut to the land of Israel and would not have conquered it. They were not ready. It took 40 years of preparation for the children of Israel, our ancestors, to get out of slavery and to get the slavery out of them. And we relive that every year at Passover and every year when we reread these stories to tell us it's not about us. It is about God and our service to God and humanity through God. It teaches us that we have to be prepared to start again from scratch. And hopefully, we won't have to start from scratch. But if we live as if we might have to, we get a different perspective. And then we will never forget to give thanks and to keep working. So, why is that generation so worthy of our admiration? That highest achieving minority status that Jews once enjoyed? It was not just because we were running from something as refugees, but it was because we were running toward something. We were running toward the promise of a country that would embrace us wholeheartedly and allow us to achieve our potential and here finally in freedom to start again. And this, I think, is a noble message from this week's Torah portion. We should live like we might lose everything that we think is important. The Schlackets left everything in Europe. The Mendlers left everything in Europe and went to the Promised Land. And the economic problems of the Promised Land in the 50s brought them to Cleveland. And there they were able to start over. And the fact that their story does not end, the fact that they were not the last generation of their family to prosper, the fact that they were the first generation of their family to enjoy American freedom, and that multiple generations have followed them in numbers that would boggle your imagination. How many Mendlers and Schlackets there are, how many descendants, is reason to give thanks that they started over. And if necessary, so should we all be prepared. Shabbat Shalom. Madam President,
Shabbat Shalom. Please join us next Friday for our S'mores Owning Shabbat at 5:30. We promise to have plenty of napkins. The high holidays are approaching, so please watch your email and our bulletin for information about services, programs, the Book of Memory, and more. You'll see in your handout a promo for the Roots presentation on September 23rd. Please spread the word, register, and encourage your friends to join. Please check the service handout for upcoming events and opportunities to get involved. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Barb. We will continue on page 282. In the middle of the page, please rise for Aleinu L'Shabach. Aleinu L'Shabach La'adon HaKol La'tet Gedula Liotzer Bereshit Shelo Asanu Kigoye Ha'aratzot Velo Samanu Kimishbechot Ha'adama Shelo Samach Elokeinu Kahem Vigor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam V'anachnu Korim Umishtachavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai Lemelech Al Kol Haaretz Bayom Hahu Bayom Hahu Ushemo 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 Echad. Please remain standing as we turn to page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish. This Shabbat we commemorate the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of the following people: Beatrice Noble Adelson, Louis R. Cohen, Sarah Shipman Kahn, Anna D'Alessandro, Nick D'Alessandro, Sharon Epstein, Samuel Feynman, Howard Francis, Frida Gang, Hyman Golden, Joseph Goldenfeld, Rose Gossoff, Joan Green, Morris L. Nell, Jeff Laff, Tommy Levine, Louis Mendelson, Sidney H. Meshikow, Anne Louise Minkin, I. William Nussbaum, Louis Olden, Karen Pachersky, Abraham Rosenblum, Dr. Neil Sager, Aaron Saltzman, Sidney Sleznick, and Thomas R. Yuldal. We are in the period of Shloshim for Sarah Gale Weinstock, Catherine Olweiler, Patrick J. Bell, Sam Sinopoli, Lloyd Silverman, and most recently for Sheldon Gurin, the father of John Gurin. I apologize if I mispronounced any of your loved ones' names and invite you to share additional names or corrected pronunciations of names that I read.
The 6 Israelis whose bodies were returned to Israel.
Thank you, Ari. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam le'omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. began our time together by increasing the light and sweetness. We conclude by giving thanks to God for providing enough resources from the earth. If we would use them wisely, we could feed everyone. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And we're going to close out on page 322 with Ein Keloheinu. And I started and I told Rita what time were we going to end? 7:03. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Chadoneinu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Chamoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Ada.
I do that sometimes still, like.